Hello, my bookhos, and welcome to the Great Costume Stashbuster. Hello and welcome to Bookhoarding by Bianca. I'm Bianca, and today I'm going to talk to you about my Stashbuster project for 2023. The Great Costume Stashbuster, which I have linked the blog in my description, is just a very casual way to say, hey, let's use some of the stuff that we have. This was really organized as like my brain needs things to be organized, but I will say that the prompts and everything are very malleable and very broad, and you can do what you want with them. Everyone has a very different process, and this is just my process, which starts with organizing. So I've spent a lot of January organizing. I also spent some time cleaning. You can check out my how I clean my sewing machine video in the description and probably linked somewhere above here. But I think that New Year's are often really good ways to start off with like a new focus, a new energy, or just wanting to recenter yourself in your spaces. And for me, I've spent so much time sewing stuff for classes, and I'm really excited about a semester that's not going to involve me sewing for class, but rather me sewing for a specific senior collection, and maybe for myself, hopefully, a bunch. How do you participate in the Great Costume Stashbuster? You can use hashtag GreatCostumeStashbuster on all your socials, or you can just do the thing. This is really not meant to be like a thing where you're checking in and you're making sure someone's keeping you super accountable. But if you do want a slight accountability space, I do have a Discord server that I have behind a specific sign-up form. So if you sign up for my free Bookhoarding newsletter, you will then get a Discord invite. I have this because I need to make sure that people are real people before going to my Discord. Also, I would love for you to subscribe to my newsletter so you actually stay up to date with the things I do, because algorithms suck. But if you want to have slight accountability, you can join that Discord, and then you can talk to other people and share what you're doing. Other than that, it's a very casual challenge. Again, you can mix and match. So to lay out what the plan is, January through March is about organizing and prioritizing. This is a time to look at your projects and materials and decide, what are you using? What can you give away? What do you maybe need to acquire to finish certain projects? But mostly just be really mindful of what you already have, because I think it's really easy to forget all the things. And I know, especially me, when I'm sewing a million projects at once, I will be like, okay, I have left 2 bias tape things over there, but I don't remember that I left them over there, or where did I put the grommets? And instead of buying a new thing every time that you are like, I think I misplaced this, but I can't find it, I think recentering at the beginning of the year and having dedicated spaces where you can remember where you put things is great. If you want to be ultra organized though, I actually put together a spreadsheet that you can copy for your own needs. This tracker is free to use. You just need to make a copy of the template into your own Google Drive, and then you can change whatever you need to fit your thing. I have somebody who's using this for knitting, for yarn and everything. This was made with fabric and projects like that, like textile stuff, but you can do what you need to with this. There's a tab for just recording your stash, all the materials that you have, and then there is a tab for your projects, your UFOs, all those things, your anticipated projects, all those things can go in there. And then there's just a Stashbuster tracker as another tab just so that you can track what you're using. I put in a bunch of conditional formatting, so if you want to mark that you are demarcating some of your stash to being destashed, you can put there your destash status. Try saying that a million times fast. Destash status, destash status, I don't know, it's really hard. If you would like a copy of the Stashbuster template for yourself, check out the link in my description to the blog post about the challenge, and it should be there for you to access in that post. After we spend this kind of beginning of the year, January through March, going through our stuff and kind of being mindful of what we have, being mindful of the projects that we have, that we maybe started buying a bunch of stuff and then midway through got really bored, or we didn't finish the embroidery on, CC myself. This is all just self-burns. This is not intentionally burning other people. This is me talking about myself and all my unfinished projects. They're many. April through June is a time for swapping and selling, although it shouldn't really be limited to just this time. I just thought that this would be a good time after people have gone through their stash at the beginning of the year to then pivot to the actual swapping, getting rid of stuff, you know, being a fabric fairy godmother. I'm going to encourage folks to host giveaways or coordinate swaps within their communities, because I know there's tons of different craft communities out there, and some people might want to do it more privately than publicly, and I just hope folks, you know, really take into consideration internet safety and the basics of when you're getting scammed, and don't give out your private information. Just be smart and safe about this, and also eBay is an option, people. Just put yourself on eBay if you need to. July through September is my costumes and chill phase, at least in my plan. Again, you can mix and match this how you want. This is the time to plan your fall and maybe even winter wardrobe, but specifically your Halloween costumes, because we all know that if you don't have your costume done by end of September, it's gonna get chaotic come October. Every October, it just gets more chaotic and stressful, and you know what? Let's just start working on our stuff way ahead of time and not stress about it. October through December ends the year through Mending and Gifting. It's going to be a time where I'm going to focus on scrap projects and gift projects. I'm going to be working on mending things, maybe doing some mending tutorials, asking other folks to share their favorite mending stitches and other like methods. If you need more specific prompts, don't worry, because I actually have those lined out in my blog post after the kind of general formatting. For instance, in February, I have a note about how you should make a timeline of all of the deadlines you have for upcoming projects, and that in February you should start one unfinished project. Again, this is not a thing that you have to stick to. This is just me laying out something that makes sense for me and the way that my brain needs to work, which is checkboxes. God, I love checkboxes. It also has other things in there, like June, there's a mid-year check-in for you to really think about your energy, where you are and everything, and also, again, looking at your materials and deciding, are there things that you should get rid of? Are there things that you should swap with somebody? As I've said before, this is self-paced, so you can take breaks whenever you need to, but I do have a mandatory everyone take a break in July where we just kind of recenter and take some time. I'm going to walk you through the spreadsheet a little bit more, and then I will let you go off and do your stash busting. Alright, so if you go to the stash list page, or tab I guess within this, you can start entering the fabric name, your yardage, your width, the project it's associated with, if you do have that info, the fiber info if you have it, and again, like, you can leave these TBD or whatever. Just make this so it's useful for you. You can mark pre-washed. You can select the fabric type. You can change those to determine if it's a remnant. Do a destash status so you know if you want to get rid of it. If you know the price, like when you're entering stuff, when you first get it and you have the receipt still, put it in there. Put the location. Like, I put the different sewing spaces in my sewing room. Like, it's in this box, labeled whatever. You can add notes as well so that you know what you're looking for. The project tracker is also pretty similar in terms of you will just be putting project name, the thing that makes sense to you, determine the fabric status. Do you have some acquired, none, or do you just have all of them? I try to color code these and make these cool conditional formatting things for the notions and the pattern as well. You can do date started or your deadline if you're going to cons. You can do a client if you do a lot of that. Just because I do think that, like, some people do branch out, and you could also put like not applicable or just get rid of that if you don't want it. Status, again, you can just say like it's not started, it's in progress. Cost, if you do know how much it's costing along the way, especially in case you ever think you might sell a piece. If not, also just tracking your clients. Materials needed. Links, you can link to reference photos, blogs, any of those things that you need, and then your notes. Now, the Stashbuster tracker itself is, I think, my loosest one in terms of, like, it's very informal. You can track this however you want. The biggest thing is just getting people motivated versus actually, I think, figuring out your numbers of yardage used over the year. So, again, just put your fabric name, your yardage used. Was it for a project? Or did you destash it? So you can say, like, no longer in stash because it was maybe a destash. Things like that, just so that you know, like, hey, these are the things if you do want to track what you have used over the year. You also don't have to. Like, you're more than welcome to not have to do this. I just wanted the stash list and project tracker very specifically so that, you know, you could get organized and feel comfortable and confident with what you have. Then I have a little thank you in here, but that's it. Let me know your favorite things about stash busting, your tips, your tricks, things that help you get through your work and make you feel motivated to do them, because I think that's the biggest thing. It's finding motivation. And for me, finding motivation is really giving myself a challenge, a checklist, things to focus on, and prompts to recenter me as I'm going through things. All right, well, I hope to see you taking part, and do let me know if you have any suggestions for my Stashbuster. Thank you so much for joining me, and don't forget to make it so.